recovering from severe burns, the treatment she's received so far, and how you can help.
Plus, a deadline looms for Southeast Texas schools on daily prayer policies, what some districts are doing and why others are holding back.
And culinary students in Port Arthur build skills in teamwork, time management, and customer service, making their way through the Mardi Gras season. 12 News Daybreak on 12 News Plus starts now. We're following breaking news out of Dayton, where crews are working to get a fire under control at a recycling center. Thanks for being here. I'm Tia Johnson.
And I'm Mark Armstrong. Now, according to the Liberty County Office of Emergency Management, there's a shelter in place in effect right now for residents within a 5-mile radius. Now, this is new video from overnight where crews are at the scene working to contain the fire as they closely monitor the air quality. Officials say that the shelter in place is out of an abundance of caution. They say that order is going to be lifted as soon as they get the all clear. We're going to continue to monitor the situation and bring you any updates as soon as they become available. All right, taking a live look outside from our Roofing 911 Live Skycam network here above the 12 News studio in Beaumont. Jeff Gerber standing by with the forecast.
And you can see we have a few clouds out there for this morning. Also, some areas are partly cloudy, other areas are mostly cloudy. You can see that right here at our 12 News studio. Temperatures right now, we're generally in the 50s and 60s, a couple of 60s out there, 61 in Woodville, 60 in Silsbee, and then a lot of middle to upper 50s, from 59 here in Beaumont to 58 in Port Arthur, 57 in Orange. Jasper's at 57, and Kirbyville currently at about 56 degrees. So maybe a lightweight jacket as you head out the door. We'll see nice warm temperatures for this afternoon. Temperatures going to be climbing from the middle to upper 70s for today. Once again, in and out of some cloud cover like we saw yesterday. At times you might see a little bit of sunshine. And then the winds are going to be picking up today out of the south, anywhere between 10 to 15, and we could see some gusts upwards of maybe about 20 miles per hour. Looks like as we head towards Friday into Saturday with a weak front coming through, we'll see maybe a couple of showers. That's about it though in our forecast. Then look for some cooler temperatures starting Sunday going into next week. We'll look at those numbers coming up in our 7-day forecast.
Thank you, Jeff. We have an update on a 4-year-old who was severely burned by hot water earlier this month. A family friend says Kobe Holland is at the Shriners Burn Unit in Galveston and has already had 2 surgeries with at least 1 more expected. The family says it's still unclear when she'll be able to come home. A GoFundMe has been set up to help the family with medical expenses. You can find the link on our website.
2 men are in jail facing drug-related charges after an incident at the Groves yesterday. Jefferson County SWAT and narcotics, they executed a search warrant at a home on 32nd Street. Investigators say they discovered a large amount of drugs. That includes DMT. Now, officials, they called it a suspected manufacturing lab. They say it wasn't active at the time, but they did collect evidence. Southeast Texas school districts are facing a looming deadline on whether to adopt a policy providing students and staff with a daily period of prayer or time to read a religious text.
It's part of Senate Bill 11, which went into law September 1st. 12 News reporter Derek Jones in studio with more.
Mark and Tia, starting as soon as next week, Vidor ISD students will be given the opportunity to participate in daily prayer before school. On February 2nd, the district's board unanimously approved setting aside the voluntary time for students to pray or study on campus during the school board meeting. Officials say parents should begin receiving electronic consent forms within the next few days. Superintendent of Vidor ISD, Dr. Kilgo, says he sees this as a valuable use of time for students and is optional with parents' permission.
Students may be looking for that quiet time each day in which they can pray or read their religious text. Most often we say the Bible, but actually the legislation says it can be any religious text. We've got students of different denominations and religions in our school districts, so it's really that quiet time for them.
Dr. Kilgo says prayer time will be offered at all Vidor campuses 30 minutes before school. Dr. Kilgo says with packed schedules and after-school activities, students need this time to pause and recharge. In studio, Derek Jones, 12 News.
Thank you, Derek. Applications for Beaumont ISD's Board of Managers are due today. According to the Texas Education Agency, applicants do not have to live within district boundaries to be considered. For more information on how to apply, visit the TEA's website. 12 News is your election headquarters, and early voting is now underway for the Texas March primaries.
Yeah, that is where voters are going to decide which candidates will advance in the November elections. And here's a look at some of the early voting numbers. In Jefferson County, more than 2,000 people have voted early so far. That was on the first day of voting yesterday. We stopped by several polling places across the 409. Some of the big races on that ballot. It includes, of course, the U.S. Senate race, Lieutenant Governor, and Governor.
To my fellow Texans, today is a great day to go out and vote. These elections are going to determine what the future of Texas is going to be.
And of course, one of the biggest races on the ballot is that U.S. Senate race. Senator John Cornyn, he is facing 7 contenders in the Republican primary as he seeks a 5th term, and that includes Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton and Representative Wesley Hunt. 2 notable figures on the other side, Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett and State Representative James Tallarico. They are vying for the Democratic nomination. Early voting, that's going to run through February 27th. Election day is March 3rd, and you can text the word VOTE to 409-838-1212 to receive a full voter's guide before you head to the ballot.
And a reminder, Governor Greg Abbott plans to be in Beaumont today for a Get Out the Vote event. He and others will be at Madison's on Dowling, and the event starts at 1:30 p.m. For a link to RSVP, head to 12newsnow.com. All right, traffic impact alert. Drivers in Beaumont will notice a big change on the East Tex Freeway.
Yeah, the City Council, they unanimously approved raising that speed limit between I-10 and Pine Island Bayou from 55 to 65 miles per hour. The speed was temporarily lowered during TxDOT's construction, but officials say that work now complete. After a brief discussion, council members, they moved forward, passing the measure without opposition yesterday.
Happening today, the Catholic Diocese of Beaumont will celebrate Ash Wednesday with 4 masses. One in Beaumont with Bishop David Toops at St. Anthony's. That starts at 12:10 p.m. and 3 in Port Arthur at the Bob Bauer Civic Center. An English Mass at 4:30, a bilingual Mass at 6, and a Spanish Mass at 7:30. Well, last night's 44th annual Taste of the Triangle event showcased some of the best food from across Southeast Texas.
Yeah, it also helped to raise scholarship funds for Lamar culinary students. Dozens of local restaurants offered samples to ticket holders, and every ticket had helped fund those scholarships. Diamond Williams, who works at Crazy Cajun, says the event also helps promote local businesses and talent.
It helps us put our name out there more. You know, we need more business, so of course we're gonna go ahead and bring our best food out and gonna show y'all our best, you know, what we're capable of. And, you know, we're just here to support the community, you know, support the college students.
And that event, it also connects students directly with local restaurant owners and industry professionals.
From beads to batter, Port Arthur students put the sweet in Fat Tuesday yesterday. Check out how these culinary students served up their own twist on a Mardi Gras classic. While some celebrate Mardi Gras with beads, students in Port Arthur are celebrating with batter.
I feel accomplished because I did something new that I've never tried before.
Inside this culinary class at the Port Arthur Memorial Career and Technical Education Center, students like Kyla Sippian are baking their own version of a king cake.
The hardest part was probably the braid.
The braid?
Yeah.
Why was that so hard?
Because like when you start twisting it, it starts to get like stretched out, so like it makes it a little difficult for you to braid it over without the other half that's unbraided to get tangled.
Because I'm always encouraging them to find different things we can do in our cafe, and they found the recipe online.
Cinnamon roll strips, butter, sugar, cream cheese icing, and a baby. The perfect recipe to sell to students in the Titan Cafe.
So that's an incentive for them to buy the king cake, because if they have the baby, they get a free item from our cafe.
Ms. Ashcraft says projects like this give students a real taste of the food industry, building skills in teamwork, time management, and customer service.
We've done chicken Alfredo, we do jambalaya, and that's another thing we tend to offer during, Mardi Gras, some of the Cajun dishes and things like that.
All while honoring a cultural favorite.
The most interesting thing was probably the process, because this is nothing that we've ever done before, and I also love trying new things and like experimenting with new recipes.
In Port Arthur, Tia Johnson, 12 News.
The Medal Count, sponsored by ExxonMobil.
Now let's go ahead and take a look at the latest medal count for the Winter Olympics. Norway has the lead with 31 medals, 14 of which are gold. Host country Italy is second with 24 medals. The United States has 21 with 6 gold, 10 silver, and 5 bronze medals. Germany now has 20 and Japan has 19. And with all eyes on the Winter Olympics in Italy, there is a proud Italian who is teaching his students to embrace his heritage. But this guy isn't from New Jersey or New York. He hails from somewhere a little more north. Here's ABC's Danny New.
As the whole world spends 2 weeks learning about Italian culture during a certain quadrennial winter sporting event,
I like pasta. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Fettuccine.
a music teacher in Canada has actually been helping in that department for years.
So your music students are some of the best Italian speakers in the school.
Absolutely.
Frank Moyo has built a following of millions online as he teaches his students about his family's Italian heritage through music.
Buongiorno. Buongiorno.
For example, his biggest smash, Buongiorno, just kind of came about organically one day while he was teaching Italian in summer school.
And it was just a greeting for people, my kids coming in, and I'd be on the piano because I bring my piano in, and I'd be buongiorno.
But both his appreciation for his roots and his fame really started with his grandparents, like his nonna, Rita. Around the time of the pandemic, he began sharing videos with Rita in the garden, and his channels took off from there.
Growing up with my nonna, growing up with my nonno. We're from Calabria. I'm not sure if you're familiar, the southern region in Italy, and there's a huge community here, especially in Toronto, of the Calabrese people.
La ninna nanna sul divano.
A few years later, Frank has now released a children's book about Rita called Nonna.
Cetrioli, spicy peppers.
Recorded an album called Let's Go to Italy, with another on the way.
Mozzarella, parmigiano too.
But how would he feel about maybe combining the Italian and Canadian cultures?
Do you ever make a maple marinara?
No. Maple marinara. No. I think I might have to. I actually have somewhere to be right now. I might have to close. So.
In New York, for ABC News, I'm Danny New.
All right, quick update for you as we head to break. The shelter in place that has been issued for Dayton residents near the recycling center fire that broke out overnight, that's now been lifted. We're going to have more on that coming up in the next half hour. Coming up here on 12 News Plus, severe weather strikes across the country, leading to wildfires, a deadly pileup, and a search and rescue that is still underway after an avalanche. Plus, 2 delivery drivers, they end up in viral videos, both having very bad days. Your trending news is coming up. And this Black History Month, we are honoring Harriet Tubman, who escaped slavery and went on to become one of the most courageous conductors on the Underground Railroad. She risked her life guiding enslaved people to freedom without ever losing a single passenger. Now, during the Civil War, she served the Union Army as a spy, scout, nurse, and even a military leader. She moved through the shadows so that others could stand in the light.
To the spot welders and forklift drivers, to the pipeline technicians and plant operators, to the chemists, custodians, and contractors, and the engineers, pilots, and wellhead pumpers. To the people working day after day, keeping our Power City rolling, 12 News is telling your stories.
Extended the temporary restraining order.
When industry news breaks, we're on the front lines, digging into the issue, filtering out rumors, and giving you the facts direct from inside sources.
Lamar is working to protect Power City from hackers.
Taking on the story from all sides and all angles with award-winning coverage.
The company filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy.
Southeast Texas is a power city, and we're bringing the power to you. 12 News, putting Southeast Texas first.
As Texans, we have many reasons to be proud of the Lone Star State. Showing our pride by saying, "Don't mess with Texas," means we gotta step up, walk the walk. Do our part to keep Texas clean. Because after all these years, all these miles, all these traditions, for all us Texans, "Don't mess with Texas" means don't litter.
It's time to honor our local educators with the 12 News Golden Apple Awards. Once a month, 12 News will surprise an educational staff member who has gone above and beyond to make a positive impact on the lives of Southeast Texas students. Nominate your educator by going to 12newsnow.com/Golden Apple to do your part in showcasing the heroes that make a difference both inside and outside the classroom. The Golden Apple Awards, every month on 12 News.
From Dallas to Houston, San Antonio to Austin, it's the news that moves all of Texas. Texas News Now. One power-packed hour with enough Texas news to fill a 10-gallon hat. Your top headlines, weather alerts, and big travel updates. No matter where you're headed, across town or across the state, we've got Texas covered. Texas News Now, weekdays noon, only on 12 News Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
Well, severe weather it slammed the West and the Great Plains Tuesday. There was massive, deadly pileup on the interstate near Pueblo, Colorado, and elsewhere in the plains. Wind conditions, they fanned the flames of wildfires. In California, an avalanche also triggered a search and rescue effort for a group of backcountry skiers. Reed Binion has the latest.
A multiple vehicle crash just south of the city limits.
At least 4 people are dead and dozens injured after a massive pileup in Colorado involving more than 30 vehicles.
There are several commercial motor vehicles, pickups pulling horse trailers, SUVs, and passenger vehicles.
It happened on Interstate 25 south of Pueblo Tuesday as powerful winds slammed the plains.
Adverse weather conditions with high winds and blowing dirt across I-25.
As wind gusts up to 61 miles per hour caused brownout conditions, authorities said, quote, visibility was next to nothing. Strong winds wreaking havoc elsewhere in the plains as well. In northwestern Oklahoma, a wildfire in Woodward forced at least 3,000 people to evacuate. Another fire broke out nearby in Beaver County, Oklahoma, rapidly crossing north into Kansas in just hours. Authorities say the Ranger Road fire burned about 15,000 acres by Tuesday afternoon, but it then exploded to an estimated 145,000 acres by evening. In Kansas, it forced evacuations of more than 11,000 people in several towns. As fires burned in the plains, an icy rescue effort was underway for missing backcountry skiers in California after an avalanche near Lake Tahoe.
Where you have brought in snowcats, we have snowmobilers on standby, we have individuals on skis.
Of the more than a dozen skiers, 6 had been found and rescued as of Tuesday night after authorities sent out search crews. I'm Reed Binion reporting.
Outside, we have a mixed bag of clouds out there for this morning. Some places are partly cloudy, other places are mostly cloudy for this morning. This camera brought to you by Mid-County Plumbing, part of our Roofing 911 live Skycam network, and you can see this is from our 12 News studios. We're looking off towards the east. You can see downtown Beaumont there off towards the left side of your screen. Speaking of Beaumont, we're at 59, 57 in Orange, 58 in Port Arthur, 56 in Kirbyville, and then 57 in Jasper. So a little bit cool in most spots. Might want a lightweight jacket. It's 60 right now in Silsbee, and then 61 in Woodville. Not much going on across the state. There is a weak cold front pushing through, but it's not going to make it to southeast Texas. It's going to pull up stationary here today and then eventually kind of wash out before we're expecting our real cold front to come through. That's going to be Friday into Saturday, and with that, we're expecting some cooler temperatures behind it and maybe a few showers out ahead of it. No showers for us today, but plenty of clouds. You can see them kind of working in from south and west. We'll continue to see these clouds kind of move through the area for today. At times, though, we could see a little bit of sunshine. We go from 60s quickly into the 70s by 10 o'clock this morning. This afternoon, we'll see highs, I think, a little bit higher than we're showing here, maybe 78 in some spots, 75 to about 78, and then we drop off into the 60s for this evening. We'll stay in the 60s all the way through tomorrow morning, thanks to the cloud cover and those south winds coming in off the Gulf of Mexico. So a pretty mild overnight period. Forecast for today, we'll go variable clouds, like I said, mostly to partly cloudy. South winds 10 to 15 in general, but we can see some gusts maybe to about 20. Temperatures between 75 and 78. And then for tonight, temperatures dropping back down into the middle to lower 60s. So a pretty mild start on Thursday, mostly cloudy skies and south winds coming down a little bit at 5 to 10 there. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, temperatures going to be close to 80, if not at 80 degrees. There's those rain chances as I was talking about Friday and Saturday. That's with that cold front coming through. And right now we'll go about 30% on Friday, 20% on Saturday. Won't be a big deal, won't be a washout. You can probably get outdoor plans in, but don't be surprised you run into a random shower either one of those afternoons. Once the front goes through, we will see some cooler temperatures finally coming back into the area. We'll be into the 60s 63 on Sunday, 61 on Monday, and then 64 on Tuesday. And look at Tuesday morning's low, back in the 30s.
Can hardly believe it. I know it's winter, but
I know.
it's just like, come on, I thought this was done.
No key.
Oh no, we're still in February, so
Into the thick of it.
All right, thank you, Jeff. And just a reminder, you can download our app at any time to get the latest on the weather. You can check the radar by going to the radar tab in the app. All right, it's 7:20 right now. Let's do some trending news. A UPS driver going viral for a hysterical delivery caught on camera at an apartment complex. This is up in Connecticut.
Yeah, a tenant says she heard yelling, whipped out her phone. This is what she saw.
No, I gotta get back. Yo, better back up. Jesus, what? I'm 40 years old. I can't be dealing with this. One more.
Look at them chasing him.
Get on out of here.
The woman who took the video says the turkeys drive everyone in the complex crazy and become more territorial and aggressive as their mating season approaches in spring. They run slow though. You know, if it were a dog, because he runs slow too. He really took off from a turkey.
I don't want to, all I would know is to start kicking, and I don't want anyone to videotape me doing that to some turkeys. I heard him say, I'm 40 years old. Why do I have to deal with this?
Where's animal control? Why haven't someone came and got them turkeys though?
Where's some turkey hunters?
Something. All right, now we're going to an Amazon delivery driver in the UK who found out the hard way not to trust your GPS too much.
Yeah, he followed the directions straight onto a 6-mile mud flat, basically Britain's deadliest footpath, definitely not made for vans. Take a look at this. Thankfully, he made it out safely. I don't know how. He was just driving into the ocean, it looks like. Though probably a little muddy and very confused, maybe a little waterlogged too. English Coast Guard say that Amazon teamed up with a local farmer to haul that van back onto solid ground, and now the company is investigating because sometimes even GPS needs a reality check, and maybe this driver needs a new set of glasses. I don't know what he was thinking.
At what point do you say, I'm going to keep driving? Like, why didn't he stop?
Maybe he was ready for a break. I have no idea. That's so weird.
That's crazy.
Yes, it is. Moving along. Big news for Houston rapper and community activist Bun B this morning.
Yeah, he shared an emotional and personal moment on social media yesterday. That's his wife, Queenie, ringing the bell at Houston Methodist in Sugar Land as she celebrates being cancer-free. According to Bun B's post, Queenie was diagnosed with stage 2 breast cancer last year. She went through 5 months of chemo before having surgery last month. Bun B thanked his wife's doctors and highlighted the importance of annual health checkups. 7:22 right now. Jeff will be back with your forecast.
This is a tornado on the ground.
And the roads are slippery.
We have a tropical storm warning.
Look at this water.
Street flooding in Beaumont.
It is going to get extremely cold.
The metal building blew away from a business. Staying safe behind the wheel is imperative.
Find a safe spot, move to an interior room.
Just make sure you're staying safe.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stream extended coverage on 12 News Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
The STEM fields are providing opportunity to be part of the developments that will shape the future, and the Army National Guard is at the forefront of the movement. Soldiers can serve part-time and choose from dozens of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics jobs, working with cutting-edge technology and innovations. And the skills and experience they receive can open doors for them to civilian careers in the STEM world. Join a team that is taking the lead in STEM by talking to a local recruiter or by going to nationalguard.com/careers.
It's time to honor our local educators with the 12 News Golden Apple Awards. Once a month, 12 News will surprise an educational staff member who has gone above and beyond to make a positive impact on the lives of Southeast Texas students. Nominate your educator by going to 12newsnow.com/goldenapple to do your part in showcasing the heroes that make a difference both inside and outside the classroom. The Golden Apple Awards every month on 12 News.
No matter where we start, every mile brings us closer.
And as Texans, we take care of each other along the way. We lend a hand, slow down, and take our time. At the end of the day, we all want to get home safe. Drive like a Texan. Kind, courteous, and safe.
We're working to get more information from Beaumont Police.
Join 12 News weekdays at 6 and 10 p.m., keeping you informed on what matters most.
And keep you safe when weather impacts your day.
Following the excitement with your team.
Covering local issues that matter in your community.
Watch 12 News at 6 and 10 p.m. and stream on 12 News Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
Well, Daybreak is giving away 4 tickets to see the Symphony of Southeast Texas March 7th. And to enter, go to 12newsnow.com/contest. You have until 6:30 a.m. next Friday, February 27th. The winner is going to be announced that morning at the end of the 6 o'clock hour.
Over the next 5 weeks, we're giving away tickets to Moody Gardens. Every Friday, you'll get a 4-pack of tickets. The grand prize winner on March 20th will also get a 1-night hotel stay and a round of golf for 2. Again, that's 12newsnow.com/contest.
At the bus stop this morning, cool temperatures into the 50s. Warm though at recess, 74, and then even warmer at the drive home, 77. Coastal marine forecast for today. South winds at 10 knots, seas around 2 feet. Kind of choppy on the inland lakes and bays for today. Next high tide's not till 4:25 for this afternoon. Our sunrise was at 6:52. Our sunset's at 6:07 for this evening. Right now at Texas Point, southeasterly winds are around 5 with water temperatures in the middle 60s.
And coming up on 12 News Plus, a social media stunt gone wrong leads to a teen being rescued. See the dramatic video after the boy fell through a narrow space on the Queensboro Bridge.
Plus, as the nation mourns civil rights icon Reverend Jesse Jackson, Southeast Texas leaders remember his life, legacy, and impact.
And a deadline looms for Southeast Texas schools on a daily prayer policies, what some districts are doing and why others are holding back.
Your time right now, 7:26. We'll have more news and weather in just a few minutes. For now, you're looking at the skies of Port Arthur from our Roofing 911 Skycam network.
Good morning, Southeast Texas. Thanks for joining us here on Daybreak on 12 News Plus. I'm Mark Armstrong.
And I'm Tia Johnson. The time now is 7:30. Let's take a look at your top stories this morning.
You were hereby sentenced to confinement in the Institutional Division of the Texas Department of Criminal Justice to serve a term of 10 years on each of these cases, which shall run concurrently.
82-year-old Ronald Tyler will spend the next 10 years in prison for child sex crimes. Court records show the victims were younger than 11. Judge John Stevens ordered 10 years in each case as part of a plea deal. The sentences will run concurrently.
Well, the driver in Monday's police chase that began in Jefferson County and ended in Orange County has been identified. Now, according to a probable cause affidavit, officers, they tried to pull over 33-year-old Dejania DeVille for speeding in a construction zone. Now, she didn't stop, and that chase, the speeds had reached around 120 miles an hour. Now, she is charged with evading arrest, and her bond is set at $25,000.
A Houston woman pled guilty yesterday in connection to a deadly crash on I-10. Lillian Hong Ho was placed on 5 years of probation and fined $500. DPS says in July of 2024, Hong Ho was speeding and hit a stop van, causing a chain reaction crash that killed her passenger.
Let's go ahead and take a live look outside from our Roofing 911 Live Skycam network here above Jasper. Jeff Gerber standing by with the forecast.
And you can see we have some cloud cover out there this morning, keeping temperatures pretty close to about 60 degrees. A lot of upper 50s to start off on this Wednesday morning. 59 in Beaumont and Port Arthur, 59 also in Jasper, then 57 in Kirbyville, 58 in Orange, showing 60 still in Silsbee, and then 61 in Woodville. Take you down to Port Arthur, and you can see maybe a little less in the way of cloud cover, seeing a little bit of sunshine break through some of the clouds there. This camera brought to you by Market Basket, part of the Roofing 911 Live Skycam network. Temperatures go from the 60s through 9 a.m. to the 70s as we head towards lunchtime. We'll be in the middle 70s there, and then go up from there, maybe say 3-4 degrees up to 77, 78, somewhere in that range, with partly to mostly cloudy skies. It will be a bit breezy today. We're looking at winds out of the south, generally between 10 and 15 with some gusts near 20. Looks like rain chances come up a little bit, not a big chance of rain, but there is a small chance of rain Friday and Saturday. We'll check that out in weather in just a bit.
Well, a delicate rescue operation in New York City after a social media stunt went terribly wrong. First responders pulling a teenager to safety after he fell 50 feet into a narrow shaft on a bridge. Here's ABC's Hannah Battah.
This was the dramatic rescue that unfolded after a 16-year-old boy fell into a shaft on the Queensboro Bridge in New York City.
The adrenaline that was felt, it was moving, but this is what we trained for.
Video capturing this life-saving mission as firefighters lifted the teen from the shaft of one of the buttresses of the bridge. First responders had to search tower by tower.
Once I saw the shoe and the blood, I just relayed that information to the rest of the members on the scene so we could all get the ball rolling on what we were going to use to retrieve this victim once we laid eyes on them. Did he say anything? Just mumbling from the severe trauma that he experienced.
Authorities say the boy had fallen about 50 feet down the shaft, which was only 3 feet wide. They say he had climbed a section of the bridge earlier, all part of an apparent stunt for social media.
They set up a rope system from the roadbed and set down what we call a spec pack, which is a device that we use to package up patients who are in a very confined space.
A woman who knows the victim and learned about the incident online reached out to police.
I wasn't there, but these kids are panicking, and I was like, if there's someone in critical danger, I need to help.
She says the boy was climbing the bridge with a group of friends, but they ran off after he got hurt. Hannah Battah, ABC News, New York.
The two people who were killed in Monday's shooting inside an ice rink in Pawtucket, Rhode Island have been identified. Police say the victims were the shooter's ex-wife and the couple's adult son. The three wounded were the suspect's in-laws and a family friend. Authorities say the gunman died of a self-inflicted gunshot wound.
All right, back here at home, two men that are in jail facing drug-related charges after an incident in Groves yesterday. The Jefferson County Sheriff's Office SWAT narcotics units, they executed a search warrant at a home in the 6600 block of 32nd Street. Investigators say what they discovered was large amounts of drugs, including DMT. Officials calling this a suspected manufacturing lab. They say it wasn't active at the time, but they did collect evidence.
We have an update on a 4-year-old who was severely burned by hot water earlier this month. A family friend says Kobe Holland is at the Shriners Burn Unit in Galveston and has already had 2 surgeries, with at least 1 more expected. The family says it's still unclear when she'll be able to come home. A GoFundMe has been set up to help with medical expenses. You can find a link to that on our website.
That shelter-in-place order has now been lifted following a fire at a recycling plant in Dayton. Now, officials say that the fire is no longer burning and crews were able to get it under control. Earlier, emergency responders, they were on scene actively working to contain the flames, and they were closely monitoring the air quality for any changes. Now, out of an abundance of caution, residents with a 5-mile radius, they were asked to shelter in place. Officials say that that order was set to remain in effect until they receive the all clear, which they have. We're going to continue to monitor the situation, bring you any updates as soon as they become available.
People across the nation and here in Southeast Texas are mourning the loss of Reverend Jesse Jackson. The 84-year-old civil rights leader died yesterday morning at his home in Chicago. His daughter says he was battling a rare neurological disorder. 12 News spoke to 2 community leaders who met Reverend Jackson when he came to Beaumont.
Yeah, they say that he possessed a one-of-a-kind aura. Reporter Ebony Coleman has more.
His theme was keep hope alive. And during that time, it was a struggle to have hope when you had to fight for your rights.
For Beaumont pastor Aaron Reynolds, the death of 84-year-old Reverend Jesse Jackson means losing a man Reynolds says helped show African Americans all across the country it was time to use their voice.
Jesse Jackson was very instrumental in going across the country, trying to motivate blacks to vote.
I'm here inside Starlight Missionary Baptist Church, where Pastor Reynolds says he met Reverend Jesse Jackson while he was running for president in the 80s.
They had so many people. If the pew held 10 people, we had to put 13 to 15 people on that one pew.
He says they waited 5 hours to see the Reverend, and when he got his chance to meet him, it was worth the wait.
He allowed us to shake his hand. We were able to call our names to him.
When Jackson came back to Beaumont for a second time, Jefferson County Precinct 1 Justice of the Peace Ben Collins says he got the chance to meet the civil rights leader.
We had a political rally for him at steps of the courthouse downtown Beaumont, and I was assigned as part of his security team.
Judge Collins says at that time he was working in the county's constable office. He says hundreds of Southeast Texans came out to hear Reverend Jackson speak. It's a day that Collins is still in awe of years later.
I was overwhelmed, but I had to stay focused on doing the job at hand. I'm glad he's resting, he's in heaven, and I tell him I'll just remember the good times you had with him.
In Beaumont, Ebony Coleman, 12 News.
12 News is your election headquarters. Early voting now underway for the Texas March primaries, and that's where voters are going to decide which candidates are going to advance to the November elections. Here's a look at some of the early voting numbers from yesterday, the first day of early voting. In Jefferson County, more than 2,000 people voted early so far. Now, we stopped by several polling places across the 409, and some of the big races on the ballot, they include that of U.S. Senator, Lieutenant Governor, and Governor.
To my fellow Texans, today is a great day to go out and vote. These elections are going to determine what the future of Texas is going to be.
And if you see all those political ads, you already know that one of the biggest races on the ballot is the U.S. Senate race. Senator John Cornyn, he's trying to hold on to his seat as he faces 7 contenders in the Republican primary, as he is seeking a 5th term. And that includes his contenders, Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton and Congressman Wesley Hunt. On the other side, 2 notable figures, Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett and State Representative James Tallarico, they are vying for the Democratic nomination. Early voting, that's going to run through February 27th. Election day is March 3rd. There could be runoffs in May. You can text the word VOTE to 409-838-1212 and receive a full voter's guide before you head to the ballot box. Southeast Texas school districts, they are facing a looming deadline on whether or not to adopt a policy providing students and staff with a daily period of prayer or a time to read religious texts.
It's part of Senate Bill 11, which went into law September 1st. 12 News reporter Derek Jones in studio with more. Hey, Derek.
Mark and Tia, a Little Cypress Mauriceville CISD board members voted down the measure for a period of prayer on February 2nd. Now Senate Bill 11 gives public school districts the option to set aside time during the school day for voluntary prayer or reading religious text. Supporters say the measure protects religious freedom and gives students the opportunity for personal reflection, but participation is not required. LCM Superintendent Stacy Brister says they didn't feel the need to dedicate time out of the school day for this since students already pray and read their Bibles at school.
Our students are very involved in their church activities, and because we are a small community, a lot of those kids go to church together. And so they're going to want to sit down together and read the Bible or possibly do a Bible study.
Brister also shares that every student has a right to pray inside the school. It should not be enforced by government. School districts that choose to implement Senate Bill 11 must ensure participation remains voluntary and does not interfere with instructional time. In studio, Derek Jones, 12 News.
Thank you, Derek. If you're interested in serving on BISD's Board of Managers, today is the last day to apply. According to the TEA, applicants do not have to live within district boundaries to be considered. For more information on how to apply, visit the Texas Education Agency's website. Still ahead, Beaumont City Council approves a proposed senior housing project. The questions raised in the location of this new development. And up next, Facebook founder Mark Zuckerberg is expected to take stand in a courtroom today. We'll have the latest from court.
You want to feel important. You want to be a part of something bigger, something that matters and can help change things.
You want to feel like you belong. We know. We felt that way too, and that's why we did something about it.
We aren't just Army National Guard soldiers.
We are normal people just like you.
And together, we can make a difference.
Take on your legacy. Visit NationalGuard.com to find out more.
409 Sports. To us, it's about so much more than a highlight, wins or losses.
It's the heart that makes up the game, the triumph of the human spirit.
It's agony and victory, diehards and day ones. It can divide or unify a community.
We give you the stats, but then we inspire you with the stories. The unpredictable, unforgettable, and incomparable.
We bring it to you all because sports lives in the 409.
As Texans, we have many reasons to be proud of the Lone Star State. Showing our pride by saying, "Don't mess with Texas," means we gotta step up, walk the walk. Do our part to keep Texas clean. Because after all these years, all these miles, all these traditions, for all us Texans, "Don't mess with Texas" means don't litter.
It's hard to really come to terms with dementia. There are little things that you can't even begin to plan for that happen that you need the early diagnosis for. My mom has done so much for me. There's no way that I wouldn't do the same for her. It's so important to have the conversation with your doctor earlier because you just do not know what the future holds.
Are you at the mercy of your bladder? If leaks are keeping you from living your best life, you should know that it doesn't have to be that way. Incontinence can be treated. Don't wait to get the help you deserve. The National Association for Continence is a nonprofit organization that's helped millions get on the path to a life without leaks. Visit nafc.org now to download your free pelvic floor muscle training kit and become the boss of your bladder.
Facebook founder Mark Zuckerberg is expected to testify today inside a Los Angeles courtroom at a trial over whether social media companies have been deliberately getting children addicted to their apps. ABC's Nicole D'Antonio has a preview.
This morning, Mark Zuckerberg set to take the witness stand. The man in charge of Facebook and Instagram will face questions under oath about whether his social media platform deliberately targets children with addictive design features. A 20-year-old woman who's also suing YouTube claims the apps hooked her with features like instant notifications, autoplay, and infinite scrolling, which she claims caused her depression and suicidal thoughts. She began using social media at the age of 6. Some legal analysts say jurors may have a tough time buying her argument.
They're pointing at KGM, that's the name for the 19-year-old who's the plaintiff in this case. They're pointing at KGM and saying, yes, there could be some negative things about social media, but let's talk about her. There was already issues with her, and that's what caused a lot of the mental and physical issues that she's arguing with, not social media.
Defense attorneys are trying to prove the plaintiff had mental health struggles before using their apps, and they say the companies have invested in safeguards and new policies to protect children. An Instagram executive testified last week that keeping teens safe is in the company's financial interest, saying, quote, "It's really hard to imagine any instance where prioritizing safety isn't good for revenue." This will be Zuckerberg's first testimony in court on the potential dangers of social media.
I think that there are harms that we need to work to mitigate.
He's previously testified before Congress in 2024 when he addressed parents who said their children were exploited or harmed online.
TikTok and Snapchat were also sued in this case, but already settled. The trial is expected to last through March and could determine how hundreds of similar lawsuits play out. Nicole D'Antonio, ABC News, Washington.
It's now 7:45 on this Wednesday morning, and we have some cloud cover out there this morning. Not everywhere. I mean, well, we have clouds everywhere, but not the thickest clouds as we're seeing over towards the Horseman's Western Store in Orange. Looks like we'll have temperatures right now in the middle 60s at 64, humidity at 100% with a north wind at 7. Our Roofing 911 live Skycam network showing traffic's going along smoothly there, especially now. I think of the construction done over there in Orange. It's nice to drive through there with no problems and no traffic being reduced down to 1 lane. 3 lanes open both ways. Temperatures right now getting up into the lower 60s in a few spots now. 61 in Jasper, 60 in Beaumont, 60 in Silsbee, and 61 in Woodville. Still not quite there at Port Arthur at 59, Orange at 59, and then we're showing 57 degrees right now in Kirbyville. Pretty quiet across the state. We do have a cold front that's trying to push across the state. This is a weak front, so it's not even going to make it down into southeast Texas here. We do see a secondary front, though, coming in Friday and into Saturday. And with that, maybe 20-30% chance of a couple of showers here and there. It won't be a big deal for us, but we will bring in some cooler temperatures. Instead of the 70s next week, we'll be looking at 60s for highs. Today, we're just watching that cloud cover kind of stream in across southeast Texas. We'll continue to be in and out of that throughout the day. And temperatures climb up into the lower 70s as we head towards 10 o'clock. Lunchtime and into the afternoon, we'll be well up into the 70s with those clouds kind of moving through the area. South winds between about 10 to 15. It's going to be a breezy day. And then 60s for tomorrow morning. We might see a couple of upper 50s well up into the lakes, but at this point it looks like a lot of lower 60s to start off on Thursday. Forecast for today, variable clouds, south winds at 5 to 15 and temperatures in the middle to upper 70s. For tonight, back down into the lower 60s with south winds coming down a little bit at 5 to 10. We'll see a lot of cloud cover overnight, and then we'll see more cloud cover again for tomorrow. Back up into around 79 on Thursday, 80 for Friday and Saturday, and there's those rain chances as the front comes pushes through the area. After that, look at these cool temperatures, 60s for highs on Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, and morning lows chilly on Sunday and Monday in the 40s, and then cold on Tuesday as we drop into the 30s. Not expecting a freeze or anything Tuesday morning, but definitely going to need the coat.
All right. I was wondering too, like, is it time to kind of put those coats, jackets in the back of my closet? But I guess not.
Usually the coats maybe about mid-March, and then the jackets completely as we get into April.
Okay.
So
just in case.
Yeah.
Right.
All right. Thank you, Jeff.
You bet.
Just a reminder, you can download the app at any time to get the latest on the weather. You can check the radar by going to the radar tab in the app. Beaumont City Council, they narrowly approved a resolution yesterday supporting a proposed senior housing development on Phelan Boulevard. That's a project that could compete for state housing tax credits. That vote passing 4-3, but not everyone on City Council or the community believes that Beaumont needs more tax credit housing.
Yeah, there was also a lengthy debate about traffic and infrastructure as well. 12 News reporter Spencer Plato breaks it all down.
I believe that the reason these developers keep coming back in to ask for tax credits from Beaumont is because we have a history of giving them, and other communities don't necessarily do that.
A 4-3 vote determining the fate of an affordable senior living complex off of Phelan Boulevard, shedding light on several concerns from residents who live near the proposed site.
Kids are leaving Westbrook or going to Westbrook. A lot of them are walking. There's no sidewalk out there right now. You know, it's kind of dangerous.
Traffic was a main concern.
as officials estimate each unit could generate 5 to 6 trips per day.
Look at the number of units for both of these projects today. They would be generating about roughly 500 trips a day.
Others say the need for housing, especially for seniors, outweighs the concerns.
I think that we can always be found helping our seniors with affordable housing, and we learned today that there's a real need.
A demand that remains high.
The waiting list size as of June last year was 25,779 families on the list for public housing and for the Housing Choice Voucher Program.
The complex would include 66 units for people 55 years or older. Developers say they're dedicated to help the housing gap.
As we know, there's a housing problem in the United States, and costs are up, and so we hope that we provide a solution to an aging population that seems to be squeezed out of the market.
Some residents say future growth should bring more variety.
I don't think everything we build should be affordable family homes. I think we need to concentrate on single family homes as well and have some diversity there.
Developers say the location of the complex goes off of a scoring criteria, meaning it must be near grocery stores, parks, and hospitals.
Beaumont Council members, they passed a specific use permit to allow a cocktail bar to set up shop along Calder Avenue. Now it's going to be located at what used to be a home health care center. Construction is already underway, and developers told 12 News that they are aiming for a late spring opening on what they are calling a high-end craft cocktail bar with an intimate, moody vibe.
And when Daybreak returns on 12 News Plus, we'll have more news and weather in your morning rush hour. It's now 7:51.
From Dallas to Houston, San Antonio to Austin, it's the news that moves all of Texas. Texas News Now. One power-packed hour with enough Texas news to fill a 10-gallon hat. Your top headlines, weather alerts, and big travel updates. No matter where you're headed, across town or across the state, we've got Texas covered. Texas News Now, weekdays noon, only on 12 News Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
To the spot welders and forklift drivers, to the pipeline technicians and plant operators, to the chemists, custodians, and contractors, and the engineers, pilots, and wellhead pumpers. To the people working day after day, keeping our Power City rolling, 12 News is telling your stories.
Extended the temporary restraining order.
When industry news breaks, we're on the front lines, digging into the issue, filtering out rumors, and giving you the facts, direct from inside sources.
Lamar is working to protect Power City from hackers.
Taking on the story from all sides and all angles with award-winning coverage.
The company filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy.
Southeast Texas is a Power City, and we're bringing the power to you. 12 News, putting Southeast Texas first.
This is a tornado on the ground.
And the roads are slippery.
We have a tropical storm warning.
Look at this water.
Street flooding in Beaumont.
It is going to get extremely cold.
The metal building blew away from a business.
Staying safe behind the wheel is imperative.
Find a safe spot, move to an interior room.
Just make sure you're staying safe.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stream extended coverage on 12 News Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
No matter where we start, every mile brings us closer. And as Texans, we take care of each other along the way. We lend a hand, slow down, and take our time. At the end of the day, we all want to get home safe. Drive like a Texan. Kind, courteous, and safe.
And welcome back to Daybreak. 7:54 right now. It's time for your morning rush out.
Here's everything you need to know as you start your day. A shelter in place was ordered in Dayton overnight for residents living near a recycling center after a fire broke out. Emergency crews are working to put out the fire and are closely monitoring the air quality for any changes. And they are asking anyone within a 5-mile radius to stay indoors. That order was lifted and they've gotten the all clear.
Yes, they have. All right, we have an update on a 4-year-old who was severely burned by hot water earlier this month in Beaumont. A family friend says Kobe Holland is at Shriner's burn unit in Galveston and has had 2 surgeries with at least 1 more expected. Now, they say that it's still unclear when she's going to be able to come home, but you can help out the family there with medical expenses. They have a GoFundMe, and you can find out more on our website, 12newsnow.com.
The speed limit on East Tex Freeway in Beaumont is changing from 55 to 65 between I-10 and Pine Island Bayou. City Council members unanimously approved the change yesterday. It was temporarily lowered during TxDOT construction, but officials say that work is now complete.
It's going to be a warm one again today. Temperatures in the upper 70s. We'll see upper 70s all the way through Friday into Saturday. Actually, we'll get maybe to 80 on Friday and Saturday. We have a front coming through Friday into Saturday. With that, a few showers here and there. Not a big deal as far as any heavy rain or anything like that. No severe weather. And then cooler temperatures settle in for Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday with highs in the 60s.
Reasons to Smile. Sponsored by Reisinger and Valls Orthodontic Specialists.
Here's a good reason to smile this morning. Lunar New Year celebrations. They kicked off yesterday. It's always a good fun time. Students and staff at Lamar State College, Port Arthur, they gathered to watch traditional lion dance performances. Now, this was all hosted by the Student Government Association. They served up fried rice and egg rolls, and it is now officially the year of the horse. Very cool. I always enjoy that celebration.
You know, it made me think about SGA back in college. Very important organization to represent, everybody on campus. They do a lot of, events like that.
Yeah, absolutely. That makes perfect sense right there that they would put that on. That's great. All right. Thanks so much for watching Daybreak on 12 News Plus.
We have midday at 11 a.m.
Have a great day, everyone.